Hey everyone, this is Austin-Sensei, and welcome back to another review of, good old Rise in the Shield Hero. And obviously I have to say spoilers because, apparently people don't know the difference between, anything. But nonetheless, we see this episode began off where 11 left off with, and we see Nofumi actually try to get a beat on what Glass's level was, and it was unknown, which, we saw the HUD in the game, well, in the anime, and I thought it was like quite really cool because that kind of stuff is really interesting because it makes us feel like we're actually kind of we can understand them basically where it's coming from, and yeah, quite rad. I'm not gonna lie, but nonetheless, we see Glass call the other three heroes Nofumi's servants, and ooh, that was a burn. And they basically said that ain't it, chief. They tried to attack Glass, but yeah, that didn't go so well, and they're quite weak. I mean, as you know, the three-hero church, the kingdom needs three heroes, while the demi-humans only needed one. Just let that sink in, but nonetheless, Nofumi actually used his shield prison on Glass, but his shield apparently was Glass. That was a bad joke. I apologize, but she breaks it like nothing, and Nofumi uses his snake attack on her, but didn't bother her. She's like, oh, is this supposed to hurt? Kind of thing. Quite funny. And Philo couldn't do anything along with Raphtalia, and her sword broke because, Glass is like, no, that wasn't worth mentioning of being in an attack. And I'm like, damn. Glass is very savage. And she's, as I said, she is over-leveled for where she is. And I know overpowered and over-level are almost the same thing, but it's just, nonetheless, it's kind of like me playing Borderlands, being over OP8 playing in the first mode. I am overpowered. I wouldn't do it though. But nonetheless, we see Nofumi actually makes a different use of the shield prison to protect him, Philo, and Raphtalia. And it was actually, I have to say, that was a smart use. I didn't really think he would. And I even read the manga. I don't think it actually had that kind of use in it. But then again, it's been a little while since I've read that manga. So it probably did. I'm getting old. But nonetheless, Nofumi basically is forced in a corner to use his Shield of Rage, which, if you don't know, when he does use it against her with the Iron Maiden, it is the Shield of Wrath, because it's the only way. That's Shield Change. That's the Shield Change name. But I'm kind of a bit confused of why they haven't talked about it. But I guess when they get to the Florian Queen, we'll probably see that. But nonetheless, we see that he tries to use the burning attack on Glass, but yeah, that doesn't work. But of course, previously when he uses the Shield of Rage, it's going to enrage, Philo, and Philo goes for attack again, and yeah, that doesn't go well either. But yeah, so Nofumi actually basically uses Iron Maiden, and it wasn't to any degree of help. And before that, it kind of, the one thing I wanted to talk about, I said in the preview, is the fact that she almost went through his shield, but nonetheless, she was surprised that it didn't. So it's one of those, he was close to getting messed up, but he's strong enough for it not to, go through kind of thing. And we see the timer all of a sudden start to come back. I don't know if people were paying attention to that because it kind of went away when Glass came in. It started to, continue faster. And we see that Nofumi's kind of realizing that he needs to run away. And see, this is the thing in MMOs that a lot of people don't know how to do, and it costs a lot of time and money, nonetheless, in-game money, to, fight something that you can't fight. And he tells Raphtalia to use the flash, light, and he escapes. And Glass still is trying to attack Nofumi, but she isn't, as we can see, good with long-range attacks. Neither is Nofumi. But Nofumi deflects the attacks, and I'm just like, damn. So Glass does say that she won this wave, and without spoiling much, she is and isn't the enemy. That's what I'm going to leave you off with so you guys can think about it. But I know people that are read ahead of the manga, light novel, they're at the light novel or the web novel. I did have a problem in the last video. Please just put spoilers, and don't go actively going to other people in the comments to spoil stuff. I don't think that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm all cool with you saying spoilers, but just when someone says something that they're only reading the manga or they're watching the anime, don't spoil it for them. I'm trying to do my best with that, but I feel like I need to say that because I was quite disappointed with a couple people with couple other videos. But nonetheless, we see the village was saved, and I don't really think it was a loss in Fumi's part, but he did lose to, well, I'm going to call it tie. Because no, the village wasn't ultimately destroyed. The villagers were safe, and we see Nofumi now start to question what are the waves, and he knows he needs to get stronger for the next wave. And I don't think we're going to see the next wave in this season. I don't know. They're kind of taking it at a good pace. They're not rushing it, so nothing to really complain about. But we see that Nofumi is told to report to the castle at once, and we saw the king was watching Nofumi the entire time, and he questioned how he got the power that's unfitting of the shield hero. And he basically, the king is really scared because he realizes that Nofumi is stronger than he expected. And Nofumi basically tells the king where to stick it, and basically says, if you want to know how I got this power, you're going to have to grovel and beg me. And the king gets very angry because Nofumi has no respect for the king, and I don't blame him. I wouldn't. He's a pretty horrible person, but nonetheless, Nofumi told the king that he could kill him and just walk away with no problem, and that is true. No one else in that kingdom is as strong as Nofumi at this moment. Notice how I say it, at this moment, but we see the king threaten to harm Raphtilia and Philo, and basically Nofumi goes, I hope you try. I have no problem destroying an entire kingdom. I don't. Come on. It's kind of like that movie with the guy with the nuclear warhead. I hope you try. Kind of thing, but hilarious thing, nonetheless. And Nofumi, he doesn't care. He is willing to do anything he needs to, and we see at the end the king call Nofumi the cursed shield hero, or the shield devil, which we're going to hear a lot more coming in the next core. But yes, there's more episodes after this, don't worry, and we're going to get a new opening in the next episode, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if we're going to have a break in between. I hope not, but we see that after he gets out, Nofumi sees a random girl, and in the manga it was supposed to be the queen. That's the one thing I don't really like that they didn't do, but nonetheless it makes more sense this way, I guess. But as I said, I'm thinking as I'm going kind of thing. But we see the girl warn Nofumi about some unknown powers, and to clarify it, she was warning him about the Three Hero Church because they do not like the Shield Hero and they don't like demi-humans. But nonetheless, Melty shows up to the king to see what happened between Nofumi and the king, and she tells her father, the king, if you don't know, the king's her father, obviously, but if he keeps acting this way, the kingdom will lose their only way of fighting off the waves, and it's true. And Melty wants her father to make up the Shield Hero, and the king says no, because if he lets Nofumi and the demi-humans do as they please, he will lose his family again. And right here is going to be a spoiler, but I'm going to give you a little, not too much of a spoiler, but nonetheless I'm going to give you something to feed on until, if it ever gets to this point. He's talking about his sister, but that's as far as going to go into that. But nonetheless, Melty shows up and tells Melty that the king's words is final basically when the queen's away, and man, Melty just says, this is none of your business, basically, and I'm like, you tell her. And she got aggravated, and we see now Nofumi went back to the blacksmith, and basically he's telling the blacksmith about what happened, and the blacksmith asks good old Nofumi about the class upgrades, and Nofumi knows he's not going to be able to use the hourglass at the kingdom, so he's going to go to a demi-human place, obviously, where the shield hero is welcome, and he's going to go to Shield Fiend. I don't remember if that's the exact name. I'm pretty sure someone will correct me because everyone's a critic these days, but nonetheless, Nofumi wanted to get Raphtilia a new sword, but Raphtilia is the financially responsible person of the group, as we can see, and says, no, I got a spare, so do not buy me one. We need to save money if we're going to go on a trip. And we see later on when Nofumi is going off, he gets gifts from the blacksmith, and the blacksmith is pretty freaking cool. I really like him, and he actually got a shield accessory, a new sword for Raphtilia, a mana sword for her too also, and gloves for Philo that are supposed to assist her if she gets tired. And basically Nofumi, if he puts those on, he could pull the wagon. But I thought it was hilarious. And we see Nofumi kind of talk about how he loves traveling because he feels free. And we see his peace and quiet get completely disrupted with, Melty showing up. And this is where everything's going to start to kick up. And I'm pretty sure this is the title. I'm working on the title as I'm doing the editing probably, but this is the giant setup for the second core, and it's going to be crazy. And we see that Melty basically demands Nafumi to make up with her father, and he says not a chance, and we see Raphtalia kind of give Nafumi the third degree, and Nafumi sees basically, well, he doesn't see, he has this feeling that this is a giant setup, and we see one of the knights actually lunge at Melty to kill her, and he protects her, and this is going to set up for a big arc, and this is to show you guys basically how corrupted the kingdom is. And the king, I really do not like him, because why are you going to go and try to get your own sister killed? I'm pretty sure it was the king and Maltese working right there, but it shows you how messed up everything is in that kingdom. And Nafumi, he is right in the right to be pissed off. I'm going to be honest. I know a lot of people get really upset about that when he's so mean to Melty, but as I said, try to put yourself in his shoes. That's how I usually tell people if they don't understand where he's coming from. Usually that's the best thing to do. That's the first thing you should do. But I really, little like final touches is, I really like the HUD element, as I said before, and Glass, just, we're going to see her probably in the next season or towards the end of this season. I'm pretty sure this is going to get another season. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'd be very surprised, but nonetheless, I can't wait for the second core. I'm probably going to do a opening analysis like I did for the first one, because you guys actually voted yes on it, so you're going to get what you want. But anyways, guys, do, rate, whatever you call it, like, subscribe, and share this video. And we're pretty close to one of the sub goals. I know 1.5k. I'm actually have a special video I've been working on, like bit by bit, for you. And I speak another language in it, so that's a little spoiler for that. But can't wait to get to that point, and it's crazy. But thank you guys, as always. This has been Austin-Sensei, and I'm signing out. Peace.